Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, the House has overwhelmingly voted to release all files related to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. Plus, a memorial concert is planned to honor the 14 victims of the deadly UPS plane crash in Louisville.
And we are seeing showers and storms push through portions of eastern Kentucky. We'll time everything out coming up.
Dedicated to southern and eastern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 5:30.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. Waves of showers and storms are moving across the region right now, and this is just the beginning of some active weather. Meteorologist Eric Dean has the latest on this first alert weather day. Eric.
That's right, Steve. We are seeing some showers push through portions of eastern Kentucky, even a little bit of thunderstorm activity. Here's First Alert Live pinpoint Doppler radar. We'll go ahead and take a look here over towards portions of Rockcastle County, portions of Pulaski County. We are seeing that thunderstorm activity as we speak. Now we go ahead and pinpoint over to the north, over towards portions of Rowan County. You can see right there a little bit of rain being picked up in Breathitt County. Rowan County had a little bit earlier. That has since dissipated. Take a look here at the bigger picture, because off to the north and northwest, we do see that line. This is going to push through as we go into your evening and overnight hours. Take a look here at the big picture. This is that low pressure system that's pushing through. The winds right now are out of the south and the southwest. That's what's keeping those temperatures in the 60s. Now, Storm Prediction Center right now has that marginal risk for severe weather, or level 1 out of 5. We'll time everything out with Future View coming up in the First Alert forecast in a few minutes. Steve.
All right, hopefully nothing too nasty tonight. Eric, thank you. The House of Representatives passed a plan that would force the Department of Justice to release all documents related to Jeffrey Epstein. President Donald Trump reversed course this week and urged lawmakers to pass the bill. WYMT Washington correspondent Brendan Cullerton breaks down the situation from Capitol Hill.
The House voted overwhelmingly to pass the Epstein Files Transparency Act 427-1. After a months-long political battle, the bill now moves to the Senate. After a legislative maneuver forced House Speaker Mike Johnson to hold a vote on releasing the Epstein files, the Louisiana Republican called Democrats deceitful.
They're using that as a political weapon to try to distract from their failures as a party and to try their best to try to tie President Trump somehow into this wretched scandal.
President Trump asked Republicans to vote no on the bill for months, but recently said he would sign it if it arrives on his desk.
I have nothing to do with Jeffrey Epstein. I threw him out of my club many years ago because I thought he was a sick pervert.
Outside of Louisiana Republican Clay Higgins, not a single representative voted against releasing the files, including Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, who has publicly feuded with the president on the issue.
Doing something that is much needed in America, crossing the political aisle that has become bigger than the Grand Canyon in America.
Fellow Republican Thomas Massey says the victims deserve justice.
There is hope here. We fought the president, the attorney general, the FBI director, the Speaker of the House, and the vice president to get this win.
The bill advances to the Senate. Majority Leader John Thune says he wants to vote quickly on the measure. If it passes the upper chamber, it would move to the president's desk. In Washington, I'm Brendan Cullerton.
And just moments ago, we understand in the Senate they held a voice vote for unanimous consent to pass this bill forward. So it looks like this could be coming to an end tonight. We will, of course, have the latest tonight at 11 and, of course, coming up on the CBS Evening News at 6:30. Today marks 2 weeks since the deadly UPS plane crash. This morning, we got an update on the ongoing cleanup efforts from Louisville leaders. The crash killed 14 people, the 3-man UPS flight crew, and 11 others on the ground. All victims have been positively identified. The plane crashed into 2 businesses and left a debris field of half a mile before it caught fire and burned for hours. To honor those who died and those hurt, there will be a free concert put on by the Louisville Orchestra.
It seems like in moments like this, when the community confronts a tragedy and a challenging period, it is incumbent upon all of us, and especially our institutions like an orchestra, to step up and do whatever it is that we can to offer something that helps us heal that helps us find that communality and the space together where we can both confront the challenges, but also find a certain peace and healing. And of course, music is the language that does that best.
Now, that concert is Thursday at Whitney Hall in Louisville. It's free and parking will also be free. The mayor says in the past 2 weeks, more than $500,000 has been raised to help the families of those lost in the tragedy. Governor Andy Beshear says the state has now received federal disaster approval from the Small Business Administration following the Louisville plane crash. This means small businesses in Bullitt, Hardin, Jefferson, Oldham, Shelby, and Spencer counties can apply for economic injury disaster loans. State officials say more than 50 businesses in the crash area were damaged. The deadline to apply is August 17, 2026. The FAA has lifted all flight reductions that were put in place during the government shutdown. Those reductions were to combat air traffic controller staffing issues, which worsened during the shutdown as controllers worked without pay. Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem says TSA agents who worked throughout the shutdown will receive bonuses. She says those who continue to serve with excellence through the shutdown will receive a $10,000 bonus. All this comes as AAA predicts a record-breaking Thanksgiving travel season.
Anytime after lunchtime is when you're going to really see that traffic building, especially on the interstates at major metros.
Thanksgiving is the busiest holiday for travel, and this year roads and airports during the Thanksgiving holiday period are expected to be busier than ever. AAA predicts nearly 82 million people will travel at least 50 miles from home during the period that runs from the Tuesday before Thanksgiving to Monday, December 1st. That's 1.6 million more travelers compared to last Thanksgiving and a new record. AAA projects the majority of people will travel by car versus air flights. Florida is the most popular domestic destination because of its weather, of course, theme parks and cruise ports. President Trump hosted the Saudi prince today. WYMT White House correspondent John Decker has more on that.
In his first visit to Washington in 7 years, Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman came bearing gifts and leaves with a pledge of American F-35s. But his visit to the White House was not without controversy. President Donald Trump's welcome for Saudi's Crown Prince resembled a state visit, even featuring a flyover of 6 American fighter jets. In the Oval Office, the president emphasized the pledge by the Crown Prince of significant Saudi investments in the U.S.
So Saudi is going to be investing at least $600 billion, and that means investments in plants, in companies, money on Wall Street, and what it really means for everybody that really counts is jobs.
Bin Salman also has a controversial past. The CIA concluded that the Crown Prince approved an operation to kill a Washington Post journalist, Jamal Khashoggi, 7 years ago.
You're mentioning somebody that was extremely controversial. A lot of people didn't like that gentleman that you're talking about. Whether you like him or didn't like him, things happen, but he knew nothing about it.
The president has already approved the sale of advanced F-35 jet fighters to Saudi Arabia, a deal that could potentially erode Israel's military advantage in the Middle East. In return, President Trump wants Saudi Arabia to establish diplomatic relations with Israel.
So definitely, we believe having a good relation with all Middle Eastern countries is a good thing, and we want to be part of the Ibrahim Accord. But we want also to be sure that we secure a clear path of two-state solution.
The Crown Prince's visit includes a formal White House dinner on Tuesday night, which will be followed on Wednesday with a U.S.-Saudi investment summit at the Kennedy Center. That summit is aimed at strengthening economic ties between both countries. At the White House, I'm John Decker.
A major development in the nation's opioid crisis. Friday, Purdue Pharma won approval for a nearly $7.5 billion settlement in its long-running bankruptcy case. The ruling clears the way for the OxyContin maker to dissolve after 6 years in court. Purdue Pharma filed for bankruptcy in 2019 as opioid lawsuits surged. More than 600,000 claims were ultimately filed. Under the plan, most of Purdue's assets will move to a new company called Pharma. That company will continue providing treatments and medicines that address opioid addiction. Friday's ruling marks what's expected to be the end of one of the longest and costliest corporate bankruptcies tied to the nation's opioid crisis. An outage at software company Cloudflare impacted parts of the internet today. Thousands of websites rely on Cloudflare to secure and manage their internet traffic. In a morning update, the company said it was investigating and working to address the global outage. A short time later, Cloudflare said disruptions started easing, but it was still investigating the problem. X and the online game League of Legends, Spotify, Amazon, and OpenAI appear to have been among the websites impacted by that outage. Coming up on Mountain News at 5:30, health officials are sounding the alarm about a potentially tough flu season ahead.
And we're seeing showers and storms push through eastern Kentucky. We'll time everything out coming up.